And happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Paula, let's please call the roll. Let me just say this. Paula is our acting clerk. She's going to be appointed deputy clerk tonight. We have several members appearing via Zoom, including our clerk, Hope Vespia, and two of our council members, because under the current law, if we have a quorum of the board, which is 3 members, then we are permitted to conduct a hybrid meeting if the other members of the voting board have an appropriate excuse and an emergency, which 2 of our members do, involving illness and caregiving. So that is why we're operating a hybrid meeting this evening with members of our board. So, Paula, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Here.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffe.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Here, you missed one.
And Councilperson Lindsay Jackson. Sorry, Lixie.
Hi, Lindsay. Thank you. First, a piece of business, adoption of the minutes for the meetings held on November 7th, November 17th, and December the 15th. If there are no corrections or objections, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. We're going to go to public comments. We have, I believe, one person who wishes to make a public comment, Ms. Larissa. Would you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Lou Larissa, and I reside in the community for about 62 years. I'm a real estate developer in Portchester, Rybrook, Westchester County. I built in excess of 400 homes in the county, office buildings, shopping centers, 2 indoor sports arenas, bridges, and I had a very disturbing conversation today with Mr. Casement in the tax assessor's office. We were debating back and forth on my property, and he told me that I don't know how to evaluate land. I built in excess of $300 million worth of real estate, and I was appalled. The reason I'm here is because I believe that Gordon is taking advantage of a lot of the people in the community. I looked through the assessments on the land values. He assesses land, some parcels, at $500,000, and he has the home value with the land at $1.1 million. Now, it's impossible to buy property for $500,000, build a house and sell it for $1.1 million and make money. They never give you the opportunity. They believe that their word is the bond. And I'm just gonna let it be known today that normally I never come out unless it's one of my projects. But my mission now is going to battle the tax assessors personally, legally, to get it right. Not so much for me, because thank God I'm able to afford it. But there's a lot of people who live in the community. They put their assessments at a number. These are elderly people. They don't have access to computers. June 1 comes. You don't get your statement until June 7, and then you have 3 weeks, which is less now. You have 14 days to get it in. I have access because I have a legal team on staff. And then their assessments are overassessed by $100,000. With the mill rate in Portchester and Rybrook, 2.5 approximately, and 3.1, it's a burden. If you overassess someone's home at $100,000 or $50,000, 100,000 is 3,000, 50 is 1,500. They don't realize that over the last couple of years, a lot of homeowners purchased their multifamily houses and they bought the home for $550,000. We went into an economic boom to 700, so they raised it up to 750,000. And I explained this at a Portchester board meeting, that the bottom's gonna fall out now, because the gentleman who purchased that home at 550 got an adjustable rate at 3. Now, 5 years later, his rate is 7. So if you do 500, it's almost $1,500 or more for his payment. And then they raise the taxes from 5 to 7, that's 200,000, times 3 is 6. The gentleman's gonna have to go for $200,000 more. They don't care, I care. I care about those people. I'm a Portchester resident, I lived here my whole life, and know what's gonna happen now? 2 things are gonna happen. One, they need to bring in family members to help pay because they can't afford the taxes and the increase in the interest rate. And the other thing is foreclosure. So now when you have a foreclosure, everybody says, oh, it's not a big deal. It's terrible. You come, you purchase something in America, you come to Portchester, now you're gonna lose your home? Because the assessors, they figure, let's raise the value to bring more revenue in. But how it works, economics, you raise the mill rate, the value goes down. It's simple math. So just want to let everybody know that I'm not here just against the town of Rye board here. It's totally against the assessor's office. And you will hear from me, my lawyers. I will fight them tooth and nails. Me personally, if they work for me, they would both be fired because they're not doing the right thing by the community. I'm sorry that I had to come, but this is not going to be the last time you hear from me. Thank you very much. Bye now.
Thank you, Mr. Larrizza. Appreciate your comments, and I'm sure that, we will discuss it with the assessment office. The policy of the town of Rye, the policy of the town council, is to make sure that every assessment is fair and equitable, not to overassess. And if that's occurred, obviously there are means of legal redress through the courts to correct an incorrect assessment. But your coming here, I know, speaks volumes. I've known you for a long time. You've known me for a long time. I respect you greatly, and your comments will certainly be reviewed, taken under consideration, and discussed. And I appreciate you coming here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Resolution number 1, setting a date for a public hearing for local law number 1 of 2023, entitled An Act in Relation to Property Tax Exemptions for Persons with Disabilities and Limited Income. This is kind of a follow-up to the local law we passed late last year regarding property tax exemptions for senior citizens. There was no disability law passed. Denise, do you want to comment on that, please? Denise? You're on mute.
Yes, I was having trouble with the mouse there. Sorry about that. Yeah, so basically it's the same structure as the senior citizen exemption with the same higher income limits. It's just specific to the persons with disabilities and low incomes. And our first local law didn't address that, as it wouldn't, because in the past, the two were addressed separately. So now we're just addressing that disability exemption.
And this is pursuant to state legislation enacted previously.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board?
No.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Paula, please call the roll.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. You know, let me go back to that. That was setting the date in the resolution. I didn't say it publicly. The resolution to call for the public hearing is for next month, February 16th, 2023. The resolution was to set the date. I explained what the law was about, but the resolution itself sets the date for the public hearing for that, at which point we'll have the public hearing and then act on the local law. Resolution to appoint Teresa Mitchell to serve as Deputy Receiver of Taxes. As many of you are aware, our longtime Deputy Receiver, our beloved Deputy Receiver of Taxes passed away. How long ago was that, Tommy?
3 months? 3 months? October, yeah, well, 4 months, yeah, it goes by so fast, yeah, October.
And,
Yeah, it was before Thanksgiving. 4 months.
and,
Yes, she got sick Labor Day, right? Or
She was sick
Yes.
she was only sick for a month, that's all she was sick.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
Carol Truan served for 34 years,
yeah,
the town.
and we've celebrated her.
and did
Carol-
an amazing job at that.
Right. Our beloved Carol Torrance, and we are now appointing Teresa Mitchell to serve as Deputy Receiver of Taxes, as per the request of our receiver, Nick Mecca. And that is this resolution. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
We'll do this orally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you. Our next resolution is to appoint Paula Ponce as our deputy town clerk. And I'm going to let Hope via Zoom make a comment. Hope?
Hello, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to put Paula's name in to serve as my deputy. She's been on a probationary period for a year, and she's done an outstanding and excellent job. She is always anxious to help, always anxious to learn, and she always gets great compliments from the public because she's just a very sweet, dear, and polite person and very professional. So therefore, I ask for the board's approval to accept the appointment that I'm requesting.
Thank you, Hope. Motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, everybody. Paula, you are now officially the deputy town clerk.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
to our new deputies.
Well,
Thank you.
I want to mention something. I'm really grateful that you guys give me this opportunity. And also, Ms. Hope is a great leader, mentor, and all the guidance. And seeing her, how he helps the public, make us to go the extra mile. She's a really loving person as well.
I never knew that about Hope before. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you,
That was
Paula.
very nice. Resolution designating voting delegates for the 2023 Association of Towns Annual Meeting Business Section. We have our Association of Towns meeting next month at the Marriott Hotel in New York. This is the first time we're having it in person, I believe, since COVID. And it's a great opportunity for town council members and town employees to come meet other town delegates from around the state and to learn, because they have a lot of learning opportunities, classes, presentations, things like that. So Debbie and I will be going, and all of you are invited to come along if you want to. And the resolution is appointing a voting delegate and an alternate voting delegate. And normally, it's usually Tony Provenzano and Ann Capisi, who have been doing this for years. However, the court system is apparently having a separate meeting, so we need new delegates. And the delegates being appointed are Debbie as the voting delegate and myself as the alternate delegate. So with that, any questions? Not, may I have a motion and a second to approve the designation of delegates?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
I
Councilperson,
just did a voice vote.
okay.
Just put that unanimous, okay? Thank you. I know you want to get to, okay.
And she's so eager to respond.
The next item is regarding the assessing department, approving a contract with Tyler Technologies to update the residential and commercial properties for the 2023 assessment roll. Denise, what's this all about, and which alternative have we chosen?
Well, Tyler did the reval in 2020, and each year, like we did with Vision, there's an update. And so they come in, look at the market, and adjust the numbers, and they do the residential piece and they do the commercial piece. And the residential piece is pretty much standard. I'm just trying to pull it up here on my other computer. Actually, I do have it. It's the 2020. The residential piece runs about 17,000, which is a great value because basically they're doing the same thing that Vision had done for approximately 35,000. And the commercial option, right now they've given us one option to reassess or revalue the commercial properties on a global basis. And if we want them to take a closer look at, let's say, the top 100, we could do that. But I think the way the contract is set up now, it's sufficient.
All right, so we're not taking the option for the big 100, correct?
I mean, unless you feel it's really necessary, I personally don't think it's necessary.
Okay,
I think we did have this discussion during budget
yes, we do.
time.
Yes,
And I think, so what we're going with is in accordance with what we discussed at length during the budget sessions, or?
yes, that's my understanding, Lindsay, yes.
Okay.
We decided, last time we gave special consideration to the top 100 assessments, and we decided during budget to save money, not to do that this time,
Yep.
okay? Motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
This time, we're gonna call the roll.
Okay, I'm ready. Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yep.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. Our next is a resolution with regard to a tax cert case, DCH Auto. I believe that's otherwise known as Toyota. Am I correct?
Toyota City.
Before you do that, let me have a motion and a second. Motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, hi, Jeff Binder, Town Attorney, also Special Counsel for Tax and Other Matters. This case is actually a very long, ongoing case. It's finally come to a conclusion. This case began back in 2009. It was put on hold because there was a court case going on as to who could actually bring a tax cert case, the tenant or the owner. It was finally resolved, and that case was resolved, and so this case could go forward. And I negotiated a settlement with regard to 2 years at issue, 2009 and 2010. Discussed this with this is in the village of Mamaroneck. It's the Rhinebeck section, and this affects the Rhinebeck schools. And it's not on the resolution because I don't put them on my resolutions, but maybe they were on some others. But the refund involved in this case is about $26,000 that the school district has to pay back for those 2 years. And I've discussed this with the school district. They're good with it. They're grateful. The overall exposure there was about $80,000, so save them some money, and they're happy. And so I would recommend.
This is gonna be about 52,000 for the school district then?
26,000 total.
20, okay, total, not per year.
No, 26,000 total. So they're very happy. It's about 1/3. I got them down to about 1/3 of what they were asking for. So that's good. School district is happy. That means I'm happy. That means the supervisor's happy, and hopefully the town board's happy.
And the village?
The village refund was handled by them because that was during the time where they were the assessing unit.
Okay.
So I would recommend we approve this settlement. If there's any other questions, happy to answer. This is DCH Toyota City on Post Road.
Were there more years on this, or is this just the 2 years that they were going for?
They withdrew on 2011, so this is 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Actually, 2011 is equitable, so the assessment was okay. So there's no refunds or anything with regard to that year.
Okay.
All right, and they haven't filed since. We don't have any current certs? Or we do?
On DCH, no, this takes care of this case.
All right, good, thank you. Since we've made a motion and a second and an explanation, any other questions? If not, Paula, please call the roll.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod, Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes, I couldn't unmute. Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. And now we come to several resolutions and a presentation on Crawford Park. I think first we'll do the Crawford Park report for the year-end report on 2022. And then we have two resolutions regarding pricing policy. Camille?
Yes.
We're ready when you're ready. By the way, that's a new picture. Isn't that a great picture of Crawford Park?
Was that a drone? How did you get that? It was, yeah, a friend of mine came to see the park because I talk about it all the time. And he came with his drone. Yeah. And I took I'll try to get the other photos from him. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to share them. But
We could put them on the website too.
yeah, this one in particular is my favorite, so I thought you'd all like to see it.
It is.
Okay, so it's time for the full year report, and happy to say it's a good report, almost a great report. We have a lot of old information and some new information to tell you about as well. So we'll start with our typical reports. The cumulative number of inquiries we've had this year, or in 2022, totaled out at 436, which is a lot of inquiries to respond to. We were getting about 36 a month. We actually received, at the end of last year, 88 inquiries for 2024, and 51 inquiries from 2022 we weren't able to accommodate. And hopefully they'll come back next time they would like to have an event. Total events booked, 286, booked and executed, I should say. An average of 24 bookings a month. 61 were booked in 2022. For this year, 2023, we have 8 proposals pending and 3 confirmed bookings for 2024. So we're really off to, we ended strong and we're off to a good start. And I just wanted to mention that the actual conversion rate from inquiries to bookings is at 66%, which I think is pretty good. Pretty proud of that. Okay, net revenue, full year, and the explanation for the meaning of net revenue here is defined as the revenue we booked minus the security deposits that we will refund and the event staff gratuities that will be paid out. So we ended the year with $292,000, and we exceeded the full year plan of $205,000 by 30%. With regard to the fees that we waived, we had a value on the bookings at $257,000, and we had 128 events that we waived. 110 were the school systems, and then the miscellaneous we had 18, and those were charity events, the Scouts, the Board of Elections, and some courtesy fees that were waived. Any questions on that so far? Okay.
How much did you figure out? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So the gross number of fees waived if they were being charged was $257,000.
That's right.
$1,000, which is almost the same as the net revenue
Yeah.
for the fees that we received.
Do they pay any fees at all, like for workers or anything, or it's totally waived?
We're kind of changing that a little bit, and I think we're going to talk about that moving forward with regard to the nonprofits.
With all due respect, I think to say it's net revenue is categorically false.
Agreed.
We've had this conversation.
Agreed. Yes, we have.
Over and over again.
Yes, we have, agreed. However, starting next month, we are going to be calculating out what we've spent in staff expenses for each event. So we'll be able, that's on the next slide. I'm going to slightly change the way we're going to be reporting the revenue. And there's still time to adjust it, starting next month. We're happy to do that. So we're presenting more accurate information for you. Okay?
I just want the public to understand that, when we say net, it's not necessarily what we're bringing in or total profit.
We can change the terminology and just explain it a little more further if that will help.
I would prefer that.
Okay, let's do that. That's easily done. Okay, so speaking of how we report, I'm going to change how we report out every month a little bit in terms of the structure. Doing this because of the many questions that I continue to get from the council, and hopefully this new reporting structure will answer those questions while I'm doing the reporting. So in terms of the numbers that we just looked at, or the reports that we just looked at, the number of inquiries, the number of actual bookings, and the fees waived will now be shown year-to-date, as well as how it compares to last year at the same time. So it'll basically be current plus previous year. As far as the revenue goes, which goes to what we were just talking about, Lindsay, is I'm going to split that out into 2 parts. So part A will be the comparison of the prior year to the current year, as we've been doing. And then part B will be focused against the staff expenses versus the year-to-date revenue. And if you recall, we've talked about in the past, our goal is to achieve a 30 to a 35% ratio of staff expenses to revenues booked. Okay? Before I move forward, is there anything else you would like me to build into the reporting as we move forward this year?
Nope, I think for me personally, I wanted to see the staff numbers, so.
And we are looking at those now, and it will be tracked on a monthly basis. It'll be tracked by event, actually. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay, so this will be new for 2023. I'm going to be doing a quarterly report on a program that we have been piloting, which is a Crawford-sponsored classes, and we're going to go into it a little bit more in the next slide, but we have 3 teachers that have been with us and have signed up for this new sponsored program. So the way it would work, or the way our pilot program has worked, is that in keeping with the Crawford mission, we wanted to be able to provide various types of classes or educational events to the community. So the plan was to partner with different educators, and Crawford would provide the appropriate classroom space, a marketing plan, which would include social media, email blasts, outdoor signage, etc. And we would provide the support staff to assist as needed with the arrivals and departures of students and anything else they may need during the class time. In return, the compensation, in lieu of paying a rental fee, as classes have done in the past, the instructors have agreed to provide for each of their specified timeframes, which would be the fall session, the winter session, etc., a class roster of each student, not necessarily the names, but we'd like to know how many students are expected in each class, the tuition that they are charging per student, and in return, they will be paying Crawford 20% of the total tuition that they've received. The outcome for both Crawford and the instructors has really been very positive. It's worked out very, very well, and we've already had all 3 instructors renew for next year, or this year. Part of the process will be that this is an example of what the roster would be. We provide them with that form and ask them to complete it and submit it at the beginning of each of their terms. And for the pilot program, we have received $3,419 just for the fall program, and that was 2 of the classes out of the 3. And just to give you an overview, the first class that we piloted was with DanceWorks, and the instructor is Wendy Barletta, who has worked with the Rybrook Recreation folks in the past. She's very well known in the area. For the fall, she had an 8-week session, 22 students, 5 hours a week. Her tuition for that session was $12,324. Crawford's.
That's not per person, that's total.
That's total, yeah. It would be great if it was per person for us, but 20% of, I'm sorry, what?
I said, not great for the kids, but.
Right.
No, not great for the parents.
Yeah.
So the revenue realized was $2,487. Going down to the next category, our staff was here 7 hours a week at $15 an hour. Our staff cost was $105 a week for the dance class, times 8 weeks was $840. And, you know, going towards our new type of reporting, we will always give you this cost. And I have to find out, Lindsay, a different word other than net so that it's more clear to everyone. But what we ended up receiving after the staff expenses was $1,647 for the 8-week program, which I think is pretty well done. And the winter.
Let me just interject. I think that you need to talk to Dave Burns, our controller. If we're looking at getting any kind of words that deal with monetary reports, Dave's the one to confirm what he would like to see. Right, Dave? I think he's on silent.
Dave?
He's in or frozen.
I think
Yeah,
at work
there-
we use the term adjusted.
Adjusted,
Yeah,
that's-
so we would probably start with total income and, adjusted gross income.
I'll leave
after
that up to
labor
you.
costs.
You
Right.
can work
Well,
with,
we won't use the word net.
We-
It's not net.
well, that's what
Okay.
happens when you
We're
have a
gonna-
marketer doing, financial work.
that's
But
why I
all-
said,
Yes, it's appreciated.
coordinate it with Dave.
Be happy to do that. So
Okay.
Dave, I'll be calling you.
Will do.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I
Just
think Lin- I
interjecting,
think
so we all
Lindsay,
from one marketer to another, this is very impressive, so.
Oh, thanks.
Keep
Thank you.
I think this will make Lindsay happier too. Right, Linz?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we aim to please at Crawford. And the second class we had this fall was Fiddleheads Cooking Studio. Renana Shivel is well-known in the Westchester area. She teaches in many of the communities. And she actually came to us, and we were delighted that she did. She has an 11-week program, 24 students at 4.5 hours a week. Their tuition came in at $13,395. Crawford's portion, $2,679. Our staff was here 5.5 hours a week, which came out to $82.50 a week for the staff. 11 weeks was $907. When we adjusted the revenue, it came to $1,772. Their winter program is now in session, and she also, by the way, just asked us to please add another class. So she'll be here 2 days a week.
Great.
So we're happy about that. So the class schedule for 2023, the winter session, which is confirmed and in session, will be DanceWorks, Fiddleheads Cooking Studio, and Chess, who has been here for a number of months, has just signed on in terms of the new pilot program that we were doing. And their roster is 60 students, 3 days a week, 8 hours a week, and their tuition is $300 a student, which comes out to a very nice $60 per student for Crawford, okay?
Before we go on, I just want to point out the pictures, which I thought were really, really nice, especially DanceWorks. That was a show, if you look at it, that the young ladies did at another venue, I guess it was a paid performance.
It was their performance. They
Their
do at
performance.
Step Back,
And it's up on the screen for the viewers at home to see. And I think that's really impressive that these young ladies are, learning at Crawford and then putting on these performances. And there's a great picture also of the young ones cooking in the kitchen. The Fiddleheads cooks.
They're really adorable. They come in, they get their aprons, and
Yeah,
they're
that's so
very much
cute.
into the cooking of it.
I just want to say it makes me so happy. This was exactly what that room was designed to do and to be. And to see that realized is just enormously pleasing.
Yeah, we discussed this when we were designing Crawford.
And it really has been very well received, so.
I got one quick question. Have they ever thought about doing adult classes for cooking?
Yes, they have. They have, but.
We're gonna sign Tommy up.
Yeah, I'll do it. I like to
Honestly,
cook.
I'll tell you, to be honest, we don't have, the only evening we now have free is Monday. So every other weeknight is going to be booked with classes. So it would be great to have an adult cooking class, but we'd have to fit it in on a weekend
You
or
can talk to them,
Monday.
or Monday.
Or Monday. Apologies for that. That was a spam call, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. We can move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, public events. We took it all on, right, Vic? And we had a total of, even though there's 4 visuals, we had 5 visuals, we had 6 public events. And we had the East, what I'm listing here, and I'm never going to use the word net again, but the adjusted cost for each of the events are listed here. And the total of what we spent was $37,174. And that number is adjusted because we have already deducted what we paid for performers, for security, advertising, Crawford staff, equipment rentals, sponsorship donations, of which 3 of the events we did have very generous donations from sponsors, and concession stand sales. Thoughts, comments?
No, I just, this differentiates from the previous events. These are public events that we are putting on for the benefit of the public. These are all free events
Correct,
that we're
correct.
putting on for the public, mostly on the Great Lawn. The holiday lights, the movies, et cetera, and even the Philharmonic.
And that's exactly what the park's for.
And that's exactly what it's for.
Well, I mean,
I believe
go ahead.
Bill Larissa was a big supporter of the holiday lights, if I'm not mistaken.
There were a number of, we also had a number of our vendors with in-kind donations. We had someone doing the lighting. We had actually 2 vendors that were doing lighting and assisting with what we needed. So our plan is to repeat these as long as everyone was happy with the results.
Yeah, I think it was wonderful. Like Tommy said, this is why we have a park.
And, you know, I think the word has really been catching on, you know, for the concerts and the movies and parents, you know, when I'm at baseball games, you know, parents are talking to parents going, oh, you should have gone, or let's go together, or that type of thing. So word of mouth is really helping. You know, Facebook and word of mouth have been very, very successful for us.
Has it also been going on the town website?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
We
wanted-
actually, go ahead, sorry.
No, I just, you know, I'm just curious, because I'm not on that website too often.
Yeah, it is posted. All of our events are
Don't admit
posted on our
Yeah,
website,
well.
on the town website.
How many, I see in March and April and February 5th that you have events.
Jump
We
ahead.
haven't, you jumped ahead.
I
of our
jumped ahead, I'm sorry.
That's
presentation.
okay, that's fine.
I'm just,
That's fine. So, coming up, we are going to have the Music at the Mansion Winter Concert Series. First one is February 5th at 2 p.m. Please mark your calendars. We have started to promote this. Tickets are available online, $25 online, $30 at the door. So we are encouraging people to purchase ahead of time. That's concert number 1. Concert 2 is March 5th. 3 is April 16th. And all the events will begin at 2 p.m. And Tommy, thank you for the recommendation and the contact name. I will be reaching out to him for the
okay,
more contemporary music
yeah.
concert.
Tommy's kind of music.
Yep.
Well, actually, it's the person who did the opening when we did the playground. It's the same person. So he's, you know, he's got a nice following. He's a good guitarist.
Great.
So it'll be a nice night to get him.
Yes. I will keep you posted on
I have
that.
one other contact, but he's been lollygagging around, trying to push him a little bit.
Okay. You can let
So
us
I'm
know.
trying, yeah, I'll let you know.
And most importantly for Vic and myself, this never would have happened without these folks on our staff. They have, as you can see, they do have fun for the most part, but they're a wonderful, dedicated group of people. And we're just appreciative to have them. Each one of them brings something different and different experiences, different backgrounds and cultures that have really broadened everybody's vision here. So thank you to our staff.
Thank you. Thank you, Camille. Any questions from the council people? No?
Are we discussing the individual resolutions now, or just?
Yeah, now we're gonna do the resolutions. Okay. Thank you, Camille. Resolution to adopt the pricing policy for nonprofits using Crawford for meetings and classes. Debbie, why don't you go over the genesis of this? And
Yeah, we've certainly heard comments. I would say that Lindsay Jackson has articulated concern about our pricing structure, as has Tom Nardi, that we should continue to work on the affordability of Crawford. A local nonprofit approached us that they wanted to hold a leadership training day at Crawford. It was the perfect place. And when we did the math, based on the fact that they had 25 people, it became prohibitively expensive. And there had to be...
because they needed to use the main...
They needed to use the Great Hall, right? If we could have shoehorned them into the multipurpose room, it would have been affordable. And I worked with Camille. Camille worked on this, tried to figure out how do we develop a new policy that can be fairly applied across the board in a way that is feasible for Crawford, and also to make sure that we're covering our expenses. Because a not-for-profit using the facility for a day, we're going to be bringing in people to staff that event. So after several discussions, it suddenly, we realized that the policy that's working for the upstairs rooms for nonprofits can be extended to the entire building. And that I give full credit to Camille that figured out that we could do it. That could be affordable for the town, and also hopefully make this an approachable place. Now, this is specifically for nonprofits that are using the space for educational purposes, for training programs, for a meeting, something that only requires tables and chairs.
Yes.
And so that is what this structure is.
And they're not making money on it.
Pardon me?
They're not making money on it.
No, they're not. This is not this is not, I think the question to ask is, for what purpose is Crawford being used? If a nonprofit is using Crawford for a gala fundraiser, there's a ton of work that goes into that, and they're making money. They can afford to pay for Crawford. However, a nonprofit which is using the facility for learning at a very minimal cost to them, it will not cost the town to provide a space for learning for nonprofits. So this is the policy to extend.
My question would be is when you have a nonprofit that's having a gala, they're having a fundraiser, we still give them a discount, don't we?
Yes, there's a special nonprofit
Yeah,
rate.
okay.
Yes.
And then if they're gonna use it for training and all, all the fees are gonna be exempt.
Not all fees won't be exempt. It will be the same rate that is applied upstairs to the small rooms will apply for the entire house.
Okay.
So if a group has 25 people
Yeah.
and 2 instructors, they can comfortably sit in the Great Hall and pay the same amount as if they were upstairs in the art room.
Okay. Yeah, because that's okay. Yep.
All right, so that's the concept.
That's the concept.
Okay. That's the resolution. Motion and a second?
Sorry. Go right ahead.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please, Paola.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. The next and last resolution is making permanent the fee structure at Crawford that actually we just discussed that applies to this is the so-called 20% fee structure, where the town gets 20% of the income for the groups that are charging for use of the rooms, such as fiddlesticks, et cetera. we've discussed this. This was on a trial basis. It's working with these three groups. And so this resolution makes the policy permanent until we, as the resolution says, until subsequently modified by the town council. Okay? So, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion?
Now, these three groups, they're okay with the 20%, they're happy, they're making money and we're making money.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, you had something, Lindsay?
Nope, that sounds great.
Okay, great, thank you. Paula, call the roll.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes.
Councilperson, well, I think all of you guys, right? And Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes, thank you. Don't worry, Paula, don't be nervous, you're doing fine. Right, Hope, she's doing fine? Okay. We're up to the report.
Yes, she's doing fine.
Okay, we're on the report session. Do we have a further assessor report?
No, but I just want to let everybody know that the renewals for the senior citizen exemption have gone out. So we're starting to get calls from the people who have had the exemption previously. The past 2 years, they didn't have to renew, but this year they have to renew. And our mailer about the recent changes in the exemptions regarding the seniors with limited incomes, the disability, people with disabilities on limited incomes, and the volunteer firefighters, that mailing will go out next week. So that's to the entire residential population of the town. And other than that, that's basically it.
All right, thank you. Vic,
Thank you.
do you have anything for us?
Couple of minor things.
Your things are never minor.
Vic Federico, Director of Grounds and Facilities. First, Gary and Debbie, I sent out about the F-150 electric truck. We've contacted quite a few dealerships, and if the council members that are here would like to look at our findings, I'll hand out extras.
Why don't you just mail them? You can hand them out,
Yeah.
or email it to the council.
Um,
We can hand them out now,
Yeah, they're right here, so if you guys give
except Lindsay and Pam can't see it.
There was.
So,
Okay, being that there's very limited F-150s out on the market, most of the dealerships got 3 or 4, and we're finding out that they were all the Lariat model. There are 4 models. There's the Pro, the XLT, then the Lariat, and then the Platinum. Actually, I won't say pretty much everybody got Lariats. And the prices are pretty consistent in the $70,000 range.
yeah, and hopefully, we found out that under the Infrastructure Act that was passed last year, the town of Rye has been allocated approximately $76,000 for environmental purposes. And one of the things that is eligible is the electric truck. So there are a couple of things that we were considering, and the guidelines are not out yet as to how to apply to get the money. In other words, the money right now is sort of sitting there and saying, Town of Rye, this is your money, but we haven't told you how you can get it. So we're waiting for that.
The only other thing is as I usually do my rounds, and go around, check all the cemeteries, Otter Creek Bridge, Town Park. The African American Cemetery, Gary and I had talked about getting the trees numbered, species, condition at the African American Cemetery. I'm gonna be meeting with the arborist from Bartlett, because we have to go through both parks again, because the squirrels have done a number on the numbers. And if you'd like, we'd have her walk with me through the African American Cemetery.
But it's not snowing.
When it's, don't say that word, it's a four-letter word.
All right.
And the last thing is in the African American Cemetery, there are now 6 headstones toppled.
Are they toppled because of age, or is it getting vandalized? You don't know.
I really can't, some of them are thin and,
Well, I know,
I
so
would
I,
say they fell over,
They're
on
just
their own, but
on
there
their
are a
own.
couple, the last one I seen just the other day, which is a new one, is the stone is picked up right off its pegs. You got the bottom piece of the stone where the pegs go into the upper piece.
yeah,
And it's just laying in front of it with the pegs not broken or anything. So it looks like somebody lifted it
well,
off.
lifted it off.
Do we have somebody who can repair these things?
Well, we had the people from down at Van Court.
Yeah, the monument.
Cemetery.
Right, the monument people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should really call them.
The foundation.
Right.
Yeah, I have not, we certainly can try. I think we should. The foundation that provided, it's a cemetery begins with a W, I think.
The World Monuments Fund, World Monuments Fund?
But that was not, that was the fund that paid for the internship program, but it was the cemetery itself that has a foundation as a training program. We'll attempt to contact
Okay.
them, because I know that the union was also involved,
Right.
in training, so I'm sure we can find someone to
Just
help.
reach down there again.
Yeah.
and
Right.
see.
What I'd also like to do is seriously investigate the possibility of putting cameras in the trees. I know we don't have any electrical, but maybe we can get some solar-powered digital cameras to see the cemetery so that if vandalism, first of all, if people know there are cameras there, vandalism might not occur. Secondly, if it does occur, we can find out who did it, take pictures and give it to the police.
One of the things I would like to see there is a roadway going up there instead of having the dirt road, maybe having railroad ties going up and then having bluestone, 3/4 bluestone compacted down on top of item 4. So this way you have a nice solid pathway, because you get a lot of divots in there when it's, even though it's got item 4 on there, but it's getting worn from the last time I was there.
We also
We have been in discussion, actually, given that we don't own the causeway into the park. That's, that is property of the Osborne, but we certainly should pick up on that. But we should also budget for that, because, we said we would undertake it, but once again, we didn't allocate funds for it. And it's something that needs to be done.
I think that, excuse me, Tommy, the Osborne has been very cooperative in working with us, so I'm sure we could work something out to have that path improved.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be, I mean, it's, item 4 in bluestone, and I know the bluestone could be a little pricey, but it's really not all that long of a run, and it's only 1 car width wide, so I think it should be fairly reasonable.
Well, we could look at pricing for that, or just put item 4 with some finer gravel on top.
Yeah.
And you put stone dust on
Yeah,
top of it.
stone
Yeah.
dust.
Vic and Debbie remind me, they provided the plants to line that pathway, and our part of the agreement was the railroad ties,
I haven't been up there in a
I
while.
remember it, Tim, didn't we split the plants? I think that was a part of it.
Are there railroad ties there now?
They underwrote the
No.
entire cost of the plants.
Because you're gonna have to put something, because otherwise, if you put stone there, and then it's just gonna go on either side to,
Tommy, we're gonna agree that
okay,
something has to be done with the road. We don't know what will
Okay.
be done with it, but we'll work with the Osborne, because that's their road.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So we can't do anything without their permission, and I'm sure they will be good partners in doing that, because they have an interest in it too.
Okay.
Actually, the
Yeah.
information board is also on their property.
Yeah, and they are open to this. Vic, I think what we need to do is price it out, so if we could get estimates in for the work.
Sure, and you know what, they have been very good, and, you know, I'll give a call over to them and see, you know, where they stand.
Okay.
Anything else?
When you take that walk with Bartlett to look at the trees, reach out and see if their arborist wants to come with you, because I imagine a number of the trees that you identify will actually be on Osborne property, not on African American Cemetery property.
More than likely, yes, most of the dead trees are around that pond.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I don't think Nick is on, correct?
Nick is here.
Nick is there.
Where's Nick?
Mr. Supervisor, good
There he is.
evening. members
There
of
he
the
is. It
town
says
council.
Nick Mecca. Must be
Can you
Nick.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ken.
Okay, Nicholas Mecca, receiver of taxes. Just want to alert everybody that the second installment of your school bill is due January 31st. And to remind you that after that, there is a 10% penalty, which is state imposed, not imposed by us. Number one. Number two, I sent out the Village of Rybrook next installment early. They're not due until February 28th, but I wanted to take advantage before the tax rates went up. We sent out 3,000, so we saved a little bit of money there. And number three, the Attorney General reminds us not to put checks into mailboxes that are just out on the streets. That pilferage is becoming more and more of a problem. We have discussed that last month. We have the box out front of the building, which has 24-hour surveillance, or get it to the post office, or preferably pay online. Pay direct and everything is nice and clean, no problems. So, any questions for me?
None, sir. Thank you. Thank
I
you for
just want
that
to
complete
mention one
report.
thing, you know, my office is down to 50% of the staff, which Terry is one that we appointed tonight as a deputy, and Antonio, and they're doing a marvelous job, because I'm confined with COVID. Of course, Carol, may she rest, is no longer with us, and they've been carrying the ball terrifically. And I just want to publicly thank them.
Thank you, Nick, and we thank them as well. All right. Dave, do you have a report? I didn't see a report in the.
No, there's no report for this month. We're just down to 5 in-rem properties. None from 2022, only 1 from 21. So there's 5 total that go back a few years, but they're all small properties and tax liabilities. And the auditors are doing, we're in this week, they're doing the preliminary audit, which is the first phase. They'll be back in February, end of February, to do the actual field work for the audit. So everything's been going pretty well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. Town Clerk, your report is submitted. Anything to add?
Stephanie and I are recovering from COVID as well, so I'd like to thank Paula for holding down the fort and for being present at the meeting tonight in my place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Nobody could take your place. Paula is sick. But you.
Thank you.
You and Stephanie are both feeling better now, correct?
Yes, we're coming along. We're on the mend.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Members of the council, do you have anything to say? Any comments? Let's start with the Zoom people. Lindsay, anything from you?
Just happy new year, and I wish everyone all the best, and see you guys next month.
Okay. Pam?
Happy birthday, dear supervisor.
Thank you.
And once again, echoing Lindsay, Happy New Year. Very much a pleasure to serve the community and be part of this council. So thank you
Thank you.
to our constituents.
Jill?
Yeah, just hoping next month everyone will be healthy in here. Always just hoping for good things. So, yes. And if it is okay to still say Happy New Year, then why not? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and hope everybody that's got COVID is getting better. And hope to see everybody at Crawford Park with the events we got coming up for the winter concerts. You know, come out and support the park.
All right. Thank you. And again, a Happy New Year for me. A happy MLK Day just passed. Happy President's Day in the future. And thank you for your birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next month. And I want to thank, let me just mention one thing. I said it at the beginning. I think that we as a council and the, and the staff made a really good decision when COVID came in that we would have this system in place, that when people could not attend our meetings due to illness or other circumstances, we could operate remotely with very little loss of efficiency. I mean, everybody who needs to be at this meeting is either here or in person or on the Zoom. And I think, Debbie, you had inquired at once, very few communities have the kind of setup that we do, I believe.
That's correct.
You know, that we can do this, that we can, have our meetings done effortlessly, and if people can't appear in person, they can appear via Zoom. So, thank you all for that. And with that, I will say, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Everyone, thank you.
Night.